Perched on the northern end of Lake Michigan's 300-mile fetch, the Door Peninsula is prime for sweetwater surf. But when it's not blowing from the south, the waters surrounding Door County provide board sessions of the tranquil kind. So flat water or swells? What's your stoke?
So the best waves are actually in the winter. Surfing conditions are pretty challenging for obvious reasons. It's freezing cold and it can get pretty gnarly, but once you have that feeling of getting up on a wave and having it carry you through the water, then you're pretty much hooked at that point. The first few times that I experienced surfing in Door County was pretty unique in that you don't have to worry about sharks, don't have to worry about stingrays, not going to get salt water in your eyes. One of the best parts is just the drive to the spot, right? So you go to these beautiful locations, you got your surfboard in the back of the truck, and you're just surrounded by just this beautiful landscape, and it's half of the fun of going surfing. And then same when you're done with the surf session, you know, you're just totally relaxed and you're driving home and you're just going through this beautiful Door County, this beautiful landscape. One of the great things about Door County is that you know, we have 300 miles of shoreline in the county. You can pretty much eliminate 150 of that on the Green Bay side, but the other 150 miles of shoreline on the Lake Michigan side are really awesome, and there's all these nooks and crannies, right? Like coves where you can get out of the wind, and so that's really what you want to look for. You can find the right locations in Door County that make it a lot easier to surf and really fun.
It's very peaceful, and it's a sense of you don't need anything but a paddle. Like, you don't need a motor, you don't need a bunch of equipment. You can really just lift your board off your car, put it in the water, get your paddle and go. So it's simple, it's quiet. Being able to stand up paddleboard where, you know, you could go to so many different, such a wide variety of spots on one week-long trip. You can always find something different to see, somewhere different to go. And they all change based on the level of the water every year and the wind direction, and whether you're seeing the sun on the lakeside or the sunset on the bay side, it looks different every day. You definitely feel connected to the water, and a lot of times you can see down into the water depending on how deep you're paddling. And there's so much shallow water all around the shoreline too that you can see fish, you can see plants that are growing under the water. It's really nice. I think it's a really nice way to spend some time being really close to the water. It's about as close as you can get to the water besides swimming. You usually see a lot of birds, a lot of wildlife you can get really close to because you're so quiet. Every time of the day has a different feel to it. The super early morning time is beautiful as the sun rises. Middle of the day is usually pretty hot and you want to jump in and enjoy it. And then the sunset is always really nice. So each part of the day feels great, and each beach has a different viewpoint to offer. So it's really nice.
You can really observe the peninsula from a whole new vantage when you're out on the lake. Kite surfing is definitely a bit more of a stylistic sport. You can kind of get a little bit more fluid with it. It's about self-expression. It's about kind of doing big tricks and being out there with your friends. I'd say it's kind of almost like the snowboarding of the water sports. Windsurfing is almost the equivalent of jet skiing of the silent sports. You know, you really are strapped in. It's gonna be physically demanding, but there's something really great about just like really having that exhilaration of harnessing the wind. When you're kite surfing or you're windsurfing, those are really kind of you can really cover a lot of ground. You could go out to Chambers Island on a kite and then spend your whole afternoon, covering like 20, 30 miles. I would say the most favorable conditions for going out would be high winds out of the south. Those are going to be your most consistent winds when they're coming out of the south. You don't have as much of land mass to buffer the wind, but there are occasionally north winds that'll come in and really give you a nice full windy day. I would say that board sports have broadened my appreciation for Door County just by getting me out to a different vantage and really being able to look at the shoreline in a whole new way. You can only see so much if you're hiking the trails of Newport, but once you're along that beach and out on a kayak, you get to look down below you, you get to look out on the bluffs, and you really get to see, a full perspective of the natural environment that is around you.